What's up everyone, thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. Over the last couple weeks I've actually had the opportunity to work with FeiyuTech and review the Ak4500 as well as this is going to be the accessories kit, and it also has your Hyperlink remote as well as the focus ring. This is also going to be a review. I'm going to go step by step on everything about this gimbal. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Okay everyone, so again, thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. I want to get into a couple of key features that I think that really set this gimbal apart from the rest of them. So I haven't even balanced this the Ak4500 with the Canon 80D. It's basically going to be like balancing a new camera and new lens combination. Okay, so once you have your lens and your body combination set, you actually want to take the mounting bracket. It's going to be the square one right here, and you can also pop off the actual slide. So you just loosen it up and then you can just slide it right out like this. Once you have the slide out as well as the mounting bracket, like I said, you can just take your bracket, slide it onto your camera or twist it onto your camera. Alright, so once your mounting bracket is on, then you'll just take the slide, and you can do all of this without having it on the gimbal yet. But yeah, you can take your slide. There's a little trigger right here, and you just hold that down and slide your bracket into play and then let the trigger go. And now your slide is going to be connected to your mounting bracket. That same lever that you were pressing, you just push it down and it tightens down the slide. And then now you just slide your camera right onto the gimbal. So that's a great thing on this whole new system that they've included for you. It basically enables you to balance your camera without necessarily having to undo and redo and undo and redo. Very big feature, especially whenever you're setting this up in a quick scenario. It doesn't take long to set up after you've already set it up one time or two times. It actually becomes pretty quick. Okay, so whenever you start balancing your gimbal, a great idea is to have the one that you're not using, have it locked. So I'm about to use this axis right here. So I'm going to push down on it, and now this axis is actually unlocked. You can see right there. Right there, looks good. Then you just take this, tighten down, loosen up, push back on it. Right there, that's what you want. You want it straight up and down, and then you just tighten this lever over here. It should actually stay pretty centered. So after that, then you want to undo the next axis, which is this one right here. So simple switch, and then you can see it's leaning that way. So we're going to undo this. We're going to push it this way. So once you have this axis pretty centered just like this, you're just going to tighten down, and just like that. You can see it actually holds its center. Then the last switch, locking switch, is going to be this one right here. So you're just going to give it a push down. I'm going to loosen up this, and I'm going to push it forward. So once you get your gimbal all balanced, you should be able to turn it and rotate it without any of the axis moving. Okay, so after you have your gimbal balanced, you're ready to power it on. The top right button right here. Then now you power it on. Okay, so let's just run through the modes real quick for you, just in case you're not aware of the gimbal, or if you've never really used a gimbal. So first things first, you're going to have your lock. Your camera will not move, even up, down, side to side. It's basically a axis lock. It enables you to get some very low shots without having to worry about your camera if it goes up or down or anything like that. The next one you're going to have is follow. So if I turn the gimbal right, it's going to go right. If I turn it left, it's going to go left. After that, you're going to have pan as well as follow. So if I turn it left, right, it follows. If I turn it down, the camera actually goes with it. And then your last one is going to be all follow. So if I tilt the camera to the right like this, the camera goes with it. If I go left, the camera goes with it as well. So another key feature that I want to talk about is actually the Inception mode, and how easy it is to put your gimbal into that specific mode. You'll swipe and you'll tap the first menu that says 360 rotation. Your camera will face up, and then you can actually control how many times you want it to turn. So let's say we want it to turn one time to the left. You can just do it like that. Or let's say we want to go one time to the right, and you can do it just like that. If you want to have a continuous movement, you can just hit the bottom one and you can hit the bottom one there. In order to stop it or to put your camera back to where it belongs, you just double tap that button on the back, and it's that easy. Like I said, guys, that's going to be basic features, but where the AK4500 actually starts to stand out is with the focus wheel right here, as well as the Hyperlink controller that goes on the back of it. So let's get that set up. So this is going to be your Hyperlink controller, used to basically control the gimbal whenever you don't necessarily want to use the controls on the handle. So we're going to go ahead and hook that up. So once you have your Hyperlink controller hooked up and everything, use this to hold it. So just like this. If you put it in all lock, like I was talking about earlier, you can get your low shots just like this. So once your Hyperlink controller is actually powered on, you can use it to switch the modes. Keep in mind though, it's only going to switch within the top two modes on your handle. So if I give it a press right there, it switches to pan follow. And if I give it another press, it switches to lock. Great feature, but that's not the best part about it. The best part about it is this right here. So they have a little button on the back side right here. So if you press that button and hold it, the gimbal follows. Great feature. It's basically that extra selling feature that you would add into a gimbal. So let's say I want to go that way with it. Now let's say I want to go up and down. So it's seriously that easy. It's a great feature to use, especially if you're able to film yourself or anything like that. To have the remote and to make sure your gimbal is actually staying on subject or staying on you. It's a great selling feature. Another thing they add again is the same knob that's on the side of the gimbal. They actually add it to the remote. So, is if you wanted to, you could put the focus motors onto the gimbal or onto your lens, and someone could have the remote and basically be controlling the gimbal without operating the gimbal. So you can pull focus from this, you can turn the gimbal, you can switch the modes through this, you can do everything you want all through the remote. And so that actually brings me to my next feature, and that's going to be, like I said, this is going to be on the accessories kit. You actually get a focus ring right here. And so if you're ever using a lens that doesn't have autofocus, you'll be able to use this to pull your focus, like I said, either from the knob on the side of the gimbal or the knob on the Hyperlink controller. Either way, you can use it to activate your focus through the gimbal. You won't have to worry about touching the gimbal or anything like that to pull your focus. So another great thing that FeiyuTech has added to your gimbals is the use of a thumb button. And I think every gimbal should have this feature simply because when you're using a lot of different modes, it's very easy for your gimbal to use the center point on where you balanced your gimbal. So the thumb button right here, if you just double press it, you can see it actually goes to where it should be. And then you can go back to moving it around or anything like that. So something else that they give you that comes included in your carrying case. Of course, you get all the wires and everything, but it also comes with this carbon fiber rod. And so you can take the Hyperlink controller mount, and you can actually mount it to this. And let's say you don't want to use your Hyperlink controller, now you can actually use this rod right here. And you can do the exact same thing, minus it doesn't have the controls on the back of the gimbal. And it's that easy to undo, it's that easy to set up. Okay, so with all accessories out of the way, let's talk about the handle on the controller. So like I said earlier, you can switch through your different modes all on the controller. You can also swipe left and just keep swiping. You can calibrate it, you can switch your language, you can go to your payload settings. So let's say you're using a heavy payload, you can set that. You can go to custom if you want, you can go to auto, yeah, so In order for any of those settings to take effect, you just need to restart your gimbal. But fairly simple. You can go to your wheel settings. Like I said earlier, I have mine set on this right here. So if I turn the wheel or anything like that, it goes up and down. You can set it to where it does pan motion. You can set it to where it does tilt, or you can set it to where it does roll. Whichever one that you're wanting to do. It also has the settings for if you want to use it for autofocus, assuming you have your wheel set up or anything like that, then it has that setting as well. If we swipe back, you can go into your actual settings. Like I said, this is just where it has your calibration. If we get out of here, we can, if you have your camera connected to the gimbal, it actually has 2 different USB ports for you to connect different accessories to. It has one camera USB port right here, so if your camera is available for it or compatible with it, you can plug in a USB cord right to the gimbal right here, and you can pair your camera directly to your FeiyuTech gimbal, and then you just swipe the other way, and now you can control your ISO, your exposure, as well as your aperture. And you can control also your white balance and different settings like that all inside of the gimbal. So that's a great feature if you're wanting to do everything within the gimbal and not have to touch the camera at all. This actually enables you to do just that. So just to reiterate what I said earlier, all the axis locks. So if you wanted to pack this up into a very small unit, you could do just that. Everything breaks down on it, so that's a plus. You can take off the tripod mount, and you can also unscrew the base. When you unscrew it, it comes up all the way right here. So if you want to break it down to as small as it can go, you can do just that. Setting it back up is fairly easy. You line it up, and then you just tighten down. So let me tell you what I like most about this gimbal. I love the fact that it can break down into a very small form factor. I also love the simplicity of it whenever it comes to setting it up. So the quick release plate is a game changer for me, simply because you don't have to sit there and continue to rebalance everything. If you're using the same exact lens and camera setup, you can continue to use that and take it on and off the mounting plate. Another great feature to have is that wheel right here on the side. I personally enjoy using that. I find it a lot more easier to do panning motions with using this versus trying to do it with my hands. I find it a little more jittery with my hands. But the absolute selling feature is going to be that Hyperlink controller. So this right here is a complete game changer. The fact that you're able to do so many different configurations with it or options with it. It has everything that basically the gimbal has. It has it right here in this small form factor. It also enables you to do low shots just like this, in case you're wanting to do that. Also the carbon fiber rod. The fact that FeiyuTech includes all of this is just completely outrageous to me, really. And all for under $800, I think it's a steal of a deal. You're getting a gimbal that can handle professional grade cameras, as well as it actually handles extremely well. From the gimbals that I already own, and I own quite a few gimbals, I have never used a gimbal that can actually get me smooth shots as great as this one can. And I'm not lying when I say that this gimbal is completely above anything that I own personally. It enables me to get some crazy smooth shots, some crazy smooth footage. It doesn't give me a lot of fight back whenever I'm trying to get low to the ground like some gimbals do. This gimbal can handle it, and it has so many different accessories, so many different configurations that you can do for it. You really won't run out of ideas on how you can set your gimbal up. Like I said, I thank you FeiyuTech for sending this out for me to test. I hope this video does it justice, because this is a steal of a deal, and it is a great treat to work with. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, smash that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and if you have any questions, I really want to hear from you. Maybe you own the FeiyuTech Ak4500 and you just have a couple questions about it. Like I said, I've done some very extensive use with this gimbal for the past couple weeks, and I've felt like I was comfortable enough making this video finally. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the description. And yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I post videos just like this once a week. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next one.